Political correctness, often abbreviated as PC, has become a hotly debated topic in recent years. Supporters argue that it is a necessary tool to promote inclusivity and respect for marginalized groups, while critics contend that it stifles free speech and fosters an environment of censorship. In this chapter, we will delve into the various perspectives surrounding political correctness. Supporters of political correctness argue that it is a means to ensure that language and behavior do not perpetuate harmful stereotypes or offend marginalized communities. They believe that certain words or actions can perpetuate discrimination and contribute to an oppressive societal structure. By providing guidelines on what is considered politically correct, they argue that society can work towards a more inclusive and tolerant environment. Furthermore, advocates of political correctness argue that it encourages people to be more mindful of their language and actions, promoting empathy and understanding. They argue that by being aware of the potential impact of their words, individuals can actively contribute to a more positive and compassionate society. They view political correctness as a tool of progress, aiming to rectify historical injustices and foster a more equitable future. On the other side of the debate, critics argue that political correctness imposes limits on free speech and inhibits open discourse. They suggest that it suppresses diverse opinions and leads to self-censorship out of fear of backlash or being labeled as politically incorrect. Critics contend that free expression is a fundamental pillar of democracy, and that by policing language, political correctness undermines the principles of open dialogue and intellectual freedom. Additionally, critics argue that political correctness can create an overly sensitive environment where individuals are afraid to engage in challenging conversations, express controversial ideas. They claim that this stifles intellectual growth and hinders progress by hindering the exploration of different perspectives. They argue that discomfort and disagreement are essential aspects of intellectual development, and that political correctness impedes our ability to have meaning. Namely, critics of political correctness also argue that it leads to the trivialization of serious issues, as people become focused on language policing rather than address and other substantive problems. They contend that by putting an excessive emphasis on avoiding certain words or phrases, the real underlying issues and challenges faced by marginalized communities they overlooked. They assert that genuine progress requires addressing systemic inequities, rather than merely focusing on speech and terminology. In conclusion, the debate surrounding political correctness is complex and multifaceted. Supporters argue that it is essential for promoting inclusivity and respect, while critics raise concerns of free speech suppression and the inhibition of discourse. Acknowledging the perspectives from both sides presents an opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations, striving for a balance between creating a respected environment and preserving free expression. Only by understanding the nuances of this debate can we navigate the complex terrain of political correctness.